Good morning, and it's Leeanne from Heal Scotland and Scotland's Wild Medicine here. And this morning, all the way from sunny Aberfeldy area, we've got Leeanne. How you doing, Leeanne?
Hello, I'm great. Just saying, I'm very Scottish and I am not coping with this heat. So, we'll see. We'll see how we get on today.
So
Yourself?
listen, obviously you're coming to the Aberfeldy Festival, but what I love about what you've got on offer is it's something that's, I think it's not spoken about enough. It's an area that we need to have a lot more education and information and open conversations about, because I'm sure there's parents out there that don't even understand the simple things that can be addressed that can help you deal with the very complex area of parenting and
Yes.
relationships. So
Yeah,
listen, tell me, so your business is called Dip Into Nature, is that
it
right?
is. Yeah, yeah, it is.
And you
Yes.
work, is it primarily with mums or do you work with dads too?
Primarily with mums. I can work with dads, but primarily with mums.
And
I kind of attract them.
well, so before we start talking about the content and what you're going to offer at the festival, can you just
Yeah.
tell us, how did you get into this?
So I got into it. I'm a mum of four myself. So my children at the moment are aged between 15 and 10. So that's quick maths, five and a half. Well, it was 5.5 years between my firstborn and my fourth. So
Oh
I
my
had
God.
very hectic time when they were all very little. And I really struggled throughout those early years. I was really very depressed actually throughout those early years, through all of them. I didn't realize quite how depressed I was until I was coming out the other end of it. Um, and through various programs that I've been in and support that I've had in place, I've identified that some of that was from birth trauma and things that I really did not recognize as birth trauma. Um, but before I kind of got into that, I was a swimming instructor, I was a baby swimming instructor. I ran a swim school in Dundee for a little while as well. And from that, I then moved on into early years. And it was when I went into early years and got the training in early years that all the aha moments started happening and all the things that I wish I'd known when my children were younger. And why aren't people given this information? That was, 10 years ago now. So there is a lot more information available, which is why I've come down the route of specialising in. I specialised first into babies and toddlers, the first 1001 days, which is conception to 2 years. I've now specialised even further into that perinatal period, and specifically with parents who are pregnant again, having had all their first experiences out of the way, so they know how many, they're not having the conversations with me about if it's okay to put a little bit of milk in their water. It's not, by the way. If it's okay to put a little bit extra water into their milk jug, that those conversations are kind of first time mum conversations. I
Yeah.
go a lot deeper with the parents that I work with.
Yes, and I think like you, well, it's really easy to assume that people would research this information and they would know about it because, like you, I'm really fascinated in when you start to learn this stuff, you want everybody to know it because it's been
Yeah,
such a massive help to you. And I think
yeah,
this is what we're wanting to do with the community is to, have people like you in there so that if you're thinking about getting pregnant, because it's a bit like, disease prevention. Think about what you can do before you would get sick. Think about how can
absolutely.
you prepare your body? Because I know when I did my nutritional healing course, it was very much, I did think, why do we not teach about the power of food, especially in subsequent pregnancies,
Yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah.
essential fat profiling and how that affects. Obviously, if you've not completely regenerated, then the next baby's coming in with a different profile, So
Yeah.
I think, and it's not to blame or shame or complain, mums, because I think we all know. Let me just get some more
There's
banana
no
for
problem.
this.
I
I
love that
think we
there's a
all know
baby on.
there's enough of that going on. What we really
Mhm.
need is just the correct information for mums, and for mums to be, and dads as well, because there's
Yeah.
with
Oh,
with so many situations and people being on their own and relationship breakdowns, it's not always just the mums that are left. Sorry, a little help there. Fiona. Yes,
I love this.
so
Yeah, it could be the primary caregiver, whoever that may be. But it can also affect partners. It can also affect grandparents. You know, anyone who's been involved in that birthing process.
yes, of course, of
Yeah.
course. It's quite the spectator sport, not. So tell me how you. So let's start with birth trauma. How would you? Because let's face it, birthing even naturally and with in the best case scenario situation, which rarely seems to happen nowadays, certainly from
Yeah.
what I'm seeing. But even then, it's a traumatic, miraculous, sacred, mental process, isn't it? So how would you differentiate between just the shock of delivering a human being or
Yeah.
an actual real trauma that may be impacting on you and your family?
Yeah, so birth trauma can really appear if at any time during your pregnancy, your birth, or the kind of postnatal period that you don't feel safe, that you've gone into that mode where you feel like there's something not right. The alarm bells are going off in your head. You want to speak up, but you can't speak up. You're going through processes that you're not really sure what's happening. Any of those things, anything that's out of your control, any of those things, however small they might seem, can actually trigger a trauma response within your body. And as I did listen to Gary your podcast with Gary this morning, and the body holds the score. So sometimes you're not aware of what's going on. You have your baby, you're then in this brand new world, you're adjusting to everything else that's going on around you. And you know the best will in the world, a lot of people are, just telling you to get on with it. That, whatever small things you think might have happened, even if there is a part of your brain that's going, that's not quite right, there's the narrative still in this community of, yeah, but the baby's here and you're safe, and that's all that matters. And then just get on with it. And that sentence can shut down so many mums or parents or anyone involved in that process and stop them from talking about it. And it's them talking about it that can help them realize that there is a trauma response going on there somewhere, and that that can be treated. It can show up in lots of different ways as well. It could be quite high, it could be like anxiety, or it could be flashbacks or quite intense things, but it could just be as little as feeling sad. It could be a little bit of just not feeling quite connected to your baby as you want to be. It doesn't show up in massive ways, but the little bits, these little parts of trauma that's happened, you can get over them, and you can make your life a little bit easier by talking about it and dealing with that trauma.
Uh-huh. Just as you're saying that, a couple of my really close friends recently have had to have emergency C-sections, and they really, really didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
They wanted it to be natural, which I think
actual, yeah,
some people want a section, but I think in general, people that have got an understanding of the kind of holistic overview want to have a natural
yeah,
birth. And I have actually said these exact words. At some stage, you have to just be grateful that you and the baby are fine. But the
yeah,
reality is that doesn't mean to say that the body's not holding something. That again, that safety thing. Because I was talking to my friend last week, and she's having these thoughts about what if anything happens to the baby, what if anything happens to her partner. And and I know that that's common. I know that's absolutely common,
yeah,
especially when you feel that kind of love, that you're just like, this is, it's the most incredible feeling ever. If you're lucky,
yeah,
because again, I also know that if you've had a lot of birth trauma, that connection, that love, you're still in a state of shock. How can you feel these expanded states of joy and connection? So
yeah,
I think this is something I'm really excited that you're coming to the festival, and really want to get you in the community to have much deeper and helpful conversations. Because obviously for me, what tends to happen is that the young mums that are coming to me diagnosed terminal, I'm like, we need to be looking at all areas of where
yeah,
these traumas have come from, and being able to resolve them, because we know that we can. And as you say, a big part of that's just telling your story, isn't it? Out,
yeah, yeah.
out. So can you explain what you're going to be doing at the festival?
So I'll be talking about in more depth about how birth trauma can manifest, what it could look like, where it can come from, and providing space for you to reflect on what might have been a traumatic part of your birth. Um, and then afterwards, at the workshop, I'll then be providing space for journaling. I'll do a meditation, a visualization, meditation, and allow time for journaling, and then holding space again for if anyone does feel safe in that way. I would hope that if they're in my circle that they will feel safe. But if they would like to share anything that's come up from that, and then I can give them next steps if they wanted to do that as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got a boy here that's just woken up.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
the talking and the journaling are really two
Yeah.
key, very, very simple things that we can do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I met a mum, I'll not mention any names, but who'd lost a baby at a few weeks old. And she told me about it, and then she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I told you that." And I was like, "Well, of course, you should have told me. It's probably one of the first things in this moment I should know about you, because
Yeah.
it's huge." You know, people don't like to listen. And I was like, wow, because we don't want bad news, do we? I think we're all like going,
No.
and it's like, so it's almost like you don't want to be honest about how you're feeling, you know, because people get fed up listening to you almost, or because they don't truly understand, you know, what's going on. And I mean, I think our understanding of trauma is, you know, has been enhanced massively by, you know, the Body Holds the Score, Gabor Mate, Joanna, lots of amazing people helping us. But it's, again, it's not, the knowledge doesn't heal, does it? It's the action. What do we do and where do we go with this? So the simple act of coming along to the festival, being able to talk to you, who has got the best experience ever, i.e. 4 kids in 5 years, that gives you, it doesn't really matter what other training you've done, it gives you a huge foot up the lad. I had 3 years. I thought that was difficult, but so it's an area that I've not really managed to put as much focus and attention to, which is our young mums and their planning, parenthood, and choosing your partner, the father for your children. All of these things can go, and there's never any guarantees for any of us, but I think we have to look around us and go, right, okay, if we're planning to have a child, let's put a wee bit more thought into it and do a bit more research and understanding, so that we can make the best job, not just for the baby, but for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And for our whole family. Because I think for you, you know, if you're unhappy, it affects everybody, I'm sure, around you that we're concerned about you and worried about you. And because, you know, I've got grandchildren in Argyll, I've got 2 in Glasgow, and I've got one now up in Stonehaven. So before we used to all live in the one community and you were there to help, and now we don't, and that's causing problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except now we have to make our own families within our own communities, because we need to start supporting and helping each other. And you know, this wee dude here, the joy I get from at a different stage of my life, watching him, cuddling him, just watching his development, you know. And I took him round to my friend's house the other day, and her mum's been really unwell, in terrible pain. He just climbed up on her knee, put his arms round her neck, and just cuddled in. That's the best medicine ever.
It's pure love from babies. They don't know any different. They just know that love and a reflection of what your family's putting into them as well. Obviously doing a beautiful job.
Well, it's all of that's medicine, isn't it? It's medicine for me.
It is, yeah.
It's medicine for him. It helps my son and his partner, you know, to give them a little bit of time to do other things, because we're not living in strong communities now. I think to put a first-time mum particularly, or any, it doesn't matter, but first time especially, in a house on her own all day, it's actually cruelty.
Yeah, and communities don't come to you. They don't come looking for you.
No.
That's part of the work that I do with mums as well, is helping them to build their village. And you need to go out and find it. I did that myself when I moved up here. I moved to Kenmore 3 years ago. And it took me a while. I would actually say in the last 6 months is really when I've managed to get myself into the kind of mindset to go out and find my village. And it's a beautiful village. And I have had a lot of support here as a single mum with 4 children. But you have to go out and find it. The village isn't going to come and knock on your door, and it may once or twice.
Yes.
When I first moved, there's people that'll come and check in. But if you're not quite ready for that connection at that time for whatever reason, they don't
I
they don't
know.
come
I
back.
know.
So you need to go out and look for them, and just say hi
Yes.
to random people and see what comes from that.
Well, my son lives in Spears Wharf, and I've been walking Leo along the. I know all the dog walkers and all the dogs. People
Yeah,
stop and speak to him. It's
yeah,
like almost craving that beautiful, wee, innocent smile. He's a
yeah.
total flirt. But I think you're right. When I moved to Malta at first, I knew I had to make friends because I was there by
Yeah,
myself, and I also knew what it was like for my friends that were having kids away from their tribe. So
yeah,
but it takes time, and I think
yeah,
and when my sister had her third, I was talking to her on the phone, and I thought, she sounds a bit tired, so I just flew over. But when it's your sister, right,
yeah.
because you can hear in her voice because you know them so well, so you can just kind of barge in and go, right, you sit there, I'm
What's
doing
going on?
everything else.
Yeah,
Whereas when it's somebody you don't know so well, you can sense that they're struggling, but there's this pride as well, isn't there, to be
yeah,
all
yeah,
things, and we need to drop all that. So I think I'm so delighted to have these conversations with you. And I think, we've got a group in Heal Scotland called Mums Across Scotland, which I started
yeah.
after I met with Zen Honeycutt. I don't know if you know Zen. She's
Of course, I
American, and
know.
she had 3 children who all had pretty serious illnesses. One had asthma, one had an
Mm.
allergy, and I can't quite remember, but she thought, she was looking at all her friends' kids and going, why are all their kids so sick? And then she realised it was glyphosate, it was pesticides in the food. So she put all her kids organic, and within 6 weeks, they were all better.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
what the hell? And I saw her on YouTube, and I messaged her, and she very kindly did a podcast with me, which of course was taken down,
Oh,
because she started this Mums Across America, and she said to me, take the name. As I say, I've not done much with it now
much with
because
it.
I need help to kind of drive it and really put that love and focus attention in our young mums and single parents
Yeah,
and single dads. It's not, as I say, it's not
yeah,
just
yeah,
mums, but we can't do it all. We're never designed to do it all. In
no,
an Indigenous community, this wee guy would have about 33 caregivers. So
yeah,
if I've got my period, if somebody's hormonal, if somebody's depressed, if somebody can't be bothered, there's still another 30 people, right? And
yeah, yeah,
how it used to be, but then that takes us into the economics of it, which is that we need 2 wages to get some form of roof over your head in this country.
yeah,
So how do we need to be looking at it from every angle. And that's really what the community is designed to do, that we brainstorm and find solutions to these issues, because the government's not going to do it. And, you can't just give money to a single parent and think, well, that's your problem solved, because we know it isn't that.
they need the community.
Lots of people can feel this isolation and depression and have all this as well. It's nothing to do with money, although, of course, money drastically can help. It means you can worry about other things rather than that. So, so I'm excited to get this community launched, and to be able to have these conversations in a private place where
Yeah,
we can really bring in other people and mums that can tell us, what do you need? What could we provide
yeah,
for you online? Which I know when my husband was a trawler fisherman, so he was away anyway. So, come 4 o'clock in the winter, you were in the house with
yeah.
your 3 kids. I'm sure
That
you
was
were
it.
the same. And even if there isn't somebody else there, it can be carnage. So it's how can we? So the online stuff can be very valuable if you're in and you don't have somebody to let you out the house for an hour at night to go and do yoga or whatever.
Yeah,
Good morning, Sharon Tate. Lovely to see you. So these conversations are really, really key. And I think it's like everything. Let's get everything out from under the carpet. Let's talk about all these things that nobody really wants to talk about, and really ask for help, because with the community, we can help people when they tell us what they need. It's that whole thing, that unless I can say, well, they need this, they need this, they need this, they need this, but what do I know? I'm 65, I'm a granny with not a care in the world. But when you're in the house dealing with children, and especially, there's so many labels and issues, which is a whole other conversation. That I would love to have with you as well. Because I think I know that I had my son when I was 19, touching, and when they all got, I never had empty nest syndrome. I was like that, hurry up and leave home. There you go, sorry. Did I take that from you? And so, I think to have a child that was never going to leave home, which is what the situation that some mums are in now, and there's a kind of natural progression, and where you get your kind of time back, and then of course we've got aging parents to add into the equation. It's it can be a really big challenge for people. So thank you for bringing Dip into Nature to Aberfeldy Festival. I'm over the moon to have you there, and I would love to have you in the community with your expertise, and also you'll know what topics we need to cover as well, because there are so many. Morning, Julie. That we can really start sharing the responsibility. We've gone big in Heal Scotland about collaboration, and it's just so nice for me being able to. We're just really talking about each other, and it's so easy. So suddenly we're into each other's networks. Like, I've had 2 sold out workshops this week. I've not actually had to do a thing apart from turn up. And every single sole trader knows how that's the hardest part, the marketing, the constant trying to get people along to your events. All of that, it's exhausting. And then you've always got somebody with a wee negative comment or try to bring you down. It's like, come on, guys. We want to heal here. We want to get our young mums. We want to get everybody, our sole traders, all the people that are helping people. We need to all pull together and collaborate. And like somebody said to me a few weeks ago, people at the top collaborate and people at the bottom compete. So we want to be collaborating. It's way more fun. We all feel supported. We can look after each other, and we can get this job done and get this information out to the people that need it. What are you saying? What are you saying? Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. And we will definitely talk again. Oh, sorry. I better go.
So many conversations.
Yes, I know. So let's make a list of them, Leanne, and let's get them going in the community, and then we can address these issues. Bye, Sharon and Julie. Love you guys. See you soon. Ciao, ciao. Any questions, anybody, just please pop them in the box if you're watching this in replay, and Leanne and myself will get back to you. Yes, and send me what's the best way to contact you? Sorry, I should have said that. I'm getting distracted by this.
Oh, that's okay. So my Facebook's probably Facebook or Instagram, so it's Dip into Nature. You'll find me, my face pops up there. So yeah, you can get me through those if you have any questions. And please do reach out, because I love talking.
Awesome. Okay, thanks a million.
Take care.
Bye now. Bye everybody. Thank you.